what are your top 4 features that your customers love that are wowing your customers each day?
Yeah. So one of the big ones here in New Zealand, and this feature isn't live in Australia yet. It's more specific to New Zealand, but is the dairy milk price forecaster that we've got. So the dairy price a few weeks ago dropped down from $4.15 per kg to $3.90. So we update the payment schedules within our system automatically for farmers, so they don't have to go through and manually update that whole process. So when the payout changes, they can jump into our software, click update, and it'll update their whole cash flow forecast. So immediately they can see the impact of what that's going to change in their business. So people really like that because it gives that real-time picture of what's changed now that the payout's changed. With that, and again, this is in New Zealand only at this stage, but we will be building this out through our markets as we progress, as our live Fonterra feed as well. So we've got all the milk production data coming down from Fonterra, which updates your production feed automatically. So that's something our dairy farmers really love. And it's a little bit more specific. So that's one of them.
Okay.
Another one would be our variance reporting. So a big piece that, often people want to track is we set a budget at the start of the year. Are we actually performing against it? So we plan to produce this much, or we plan to spend this much, but it's halfway through the year. How are we going against that budget? So our variance reports give a lot of detail around that, and it can even go down to the detail of how much budget have I got left to spend for the remainder of the year. So you can get into a lot of good detailed analysis line by line. So you can drill down to animal health or breeding costs or vehicle costs. So it can get down to that chart of account level for that, which is really good. Another one you mentioned just before, Jerry, was the livestock reconciliation. So people really love clarity around knowing what their tallies are on farm. And the great thing about how ours probably differs from other livestock recs is because it's integrated with our accounting system, which is Xero. When money is paid or received, it's going to notify Figure to say that, hey, you've coded something to livestock sales, but you haven't updated your livestock tally. So it sort of automatically reminds you that your tallies aren't right. So it's a good way a good reminder to keep those tallies up to date, so you know how much livestock you've got on the farm. So that'll be the third thing.
So it's not only one. So it's not one way. It's not that you have to enter information in Figured and it shows up in Xero. You can enter information in Xero and it shoots back up to Figured, and Figured will tell you if it's does not there.
It's the ideal is to enter everything in Figured first, because that's the single source of truth around production on the farm. Xero doesn't record any quantities around production. So you're not going to get that data around how many heads, how many kgs, how many tons on the Xero side. So that's why it happens in Figured first. But if you have an accounts person just doing your coding and they just went and coded to livestock sales, it would just remind you that you've sold something, you're going to have to update those tallies in Figured. So it's a good checking process more than anything. And probably the last thing is having both a cash and accrual view in one system. Most systems that I think I've seen in the ag sector have really focused on cash, because cash is king in a farming business. But more and more we need to focus on, are our businesses profitable? And a lot can come into play with that. I mean, if you have maybe a sheep and beef farm and you sell a whole lot of your capital livestock, you'll have a lot of cash in the bank. But it doesn't mean that you're more profitable business, because that's a lot of your capital stock for the following year. So just relying on what cash is in the bank doesn't give you a true assessment of your business. And I think that's why it's important that farmers and their farming team can see both views at the same time.
Excellent. Very good. Okay.